right, welcome back to another episode of Bet GPT. We are checking in here. This is episode 38. We're recording. It is the 14th of December. Christmas and the holidays are almost upon us. And Slade, we have a special guest sitting
Yep.
in here. We have the Rye Dog, Ryan Pointer, my brother. Ryan, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Just came down to visit for Christmas.
Exactly. Well, we're happy to have you live in studio.
It's nice to have a fellow dog on the pod.
A fellow dog, yeah. So
Two of the
Ryan
three of us.
Ryan will have a special celebrity pick coming up on our next segment, but yeah, feel free to just speak up whenever you want if you want to say something about the game. So, okay. All right. So just quickly recapping last episode, which was a week ago. We had our 6-pack went. Let's see what we got here.
I know I went 0-2.
Right? You went
I had a
0-2 and
push.
1.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
had a
because that
push.
Army-Navy push because of the safety as time expired.
Yeah, that was all. That was one of the worst beats of the year. I guess it wasn't a beat. That was one of the worst pushes of the year.
Yeah, and we're lucky we got a 28 because I know plenty of people got under 27.5 at kickoff. So yeah, that's not great. But however, I did go 3-0 with the Bucks and Bills money line, then the Cowboys destroying the Eagles, which was great. So it was still a positive week. We're sitting there. We went up 0.95 for the week, and so we're up a total of 14.96 units. So just saying, if you bet $100 on all our plays, you'd be up $1,400. So just saying.
Just saying.
Anyway, so do you want to get into our picks for this week right now?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. So I've got, it's the holiday season, which also means it's bowl season. And I know people are going to be like, you're a psychopath for betting on these bowl games. There's opt-outs, there's the transfer portal, there's the do these players even care factor.
Yeah.
But you know what I have to say to that? The general public, so not us, not our listeners, they aren't paying attention to the transfer portal stuff as closely. And so, I think we can beat the public here. But also I just like a few of these games. So I'm going to start it off with Ohio versus Georgia Southern under 49. That game is in Myrtle Beach. There's going to be 10 to 16 mile an hour winds with gusts up to 27. That is this Saturday. There's like 6 games on Saturday. This is one of the earlier ones. Myrtle Beach this time of year is not going to be great. It's like in the 40s that day. Projected for Saturday. So under 49, Ohio had a good quarterback this year, Rourke. He is in the transfer portal.
Ooh.
So Ohio is going to be playing with their backup quarterback in some windy conditions. 49 is not a huge number for college football, but we're going to take the under. And then, so number 2, I've got New Mexico State minus 3.5. They owe me one. I had them as the last leg of a teaser, going back to that Auburn matchup. And so they have something to play for. They are a 3.5 point favorite. So I mean, maybe you want to buy it down. I'm not going to. I think that I would rather take the alt and see if they can win by like 6 or 7 than to buy the point personally. But they have something to play for because this is their first chance to have a 10-win season since like 1960.
And they were tied at 35 going into the fourth quarter against Liberty, and then just played a poor quarter. So they're right there.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they have a good coaching staff. I just think they're the better team. They beat an SEC team in Auburn, so we know they're going to get up for games that matter. That game is also in New Mexico, and last year they weren't able to travel for their bowl game. Their fan base wasn't, so I actually think that their fan base will care, and there might actually be a pretty good split in their favor in terms of the crowd. So chalk that up for another point or two our way.
So, what's their quarterback situation? Because they have that Diego Pavia guy. Do you know anything about that? Because
He's
he's
questionable.
I'm just reading an article that's saying he's most likely going to play, so that's great.
Yes.
I would say we definitely need him to play.
Yeah, I
It
think
looks like he will.
when I did my research around 2 p.m. today, it sounded like he was going to play.
Okay.
Obviously, there's 48 hours till kickoff, so that can change. But
Yeah.
if he doesn't play, maybe we'll tweet out off our Twitter that we're canceling it. But
We
I
can't
don't
do
know
that. Come on. We can't
if
do that.
if they haven't played it yet, we can tell people that we don't encourage it as much or something. But no, I'm fine with this number either way. Um, we'll win. And then the other reason I'm playing these bowl games is I don't know if you have paid attention, but my NFL bets are terrible anyway. So I mean, I might as well just do something crazy and bet on bowl season because I'm not winning with my NFL plays.
It's hard to win in the NFL.
Eh,
Yeah,
So
we'll
I
have
do
to.
have. Go ahead.
I need to. I'm gonna make like a pivot table or something that shows us our plus or minus units for all of us in each of our sports, and throw that on an extra tab on our tracker sheet. That'd be kind of fun to look at.
I think I would be up only on college football a lot, and then everything else down a little bit
It's
because
possible. You're sitting at up 6.56 units, and I'm up 8.4 units right now. So we've kind of flip flopped a little bit, but
and I know I've lost at least 2 baseball plays. I think I'm like 1 and 2 on baseball or something. So not great, but I do have one NFL play for the
yeah.
weekend. So
That being said, you are going to still bet the NFL.
I do have one play, and it's the Ravens at the Jags.
Okay.
The Jags just aren't. Every time I watch them, they're pretty gross. I know they win a lot. They're just not. They don't pass the eye test. So some of this week is pretty subjective. I'm not going to throw a bunch of stats at you guys. The Jags with the eye test don't impress me, and I think the Ravens, obviously, they have the 1 seed to play for.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about them taking their foot off the gas, and the Jags is not some crazy home field advantage. Um, I don't know. It's -3. I feel pretty good about it. Some
Yeah.
books are up to 3.5, but I think Circa Sports is still at -3.
Yeah. A lot still are at 3 as of right now, but I the like Trevor Lawrence might not have played against the Browns last week, but then he looked totally fine. He even had a couple like scrambles. So I don't necessarily think his health is going to be like an issue at all, but I don't know. I think just with the Ravens wanting that 1 seed, I do think that's enough motivation to kind of push them towards, to covering this game. So
Exactly.
I'm with you there, but okay. I will go into mine. I decided to make my bets as gross as possible because I just think that's how you have to win in week 15 this year. So first one, I'm taking the Browns -3 over the Bears. You're not gonna like it, but guess what? DJ Moore's a little banged up.
Yeah.
Justin Fields holds onto the ball too long. Myles Garrett might just throw him down on the ground 8 times this upcoming Sunday. So I just like the Browns here. I think Joe Flacco's got a little bit of magic left in him. This is a must-win game for them to kind of cement their way as like the 5th or 6th seed in the wild card. And with the Bears, I don't know. I just feel like they're really hit or miss. Our boy Brisker was limited in practice yesterday. We'll see if he
Yeah.
goes. Ngakwe, he's hurt, but I don't know. I just feel like that's more of like a big name, or bigger name, if you will. Like Montez Sweat has already had more pressures this year, and he's only played 5 games. So, um,
Yeah.
could be worse for the Bears, but I just think that the Browns defense ultimately at home, wins them this game.
That game is going to come down. We're going to know within 2 possessions if the Bears have a chance in that one. It's going to come down to can the interior line hold up because they usually don't, and then also you have Myles Garrett on the edge. So it's going to come down to do they block because otherwise you're going to have Fields running for his life against Myles Garrett with possibly a banged up DJ Moore. So it doesn't, and it's on the road. I don't know. It doesn't look great. The injury to our defensive end does suck because he was starting to get sacks mainly because of the attention that Montez Sweat was getting. But
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think him alone is anything special. It's just we're already thin there. But you guys are out your left tackle, I think, as well. So it kind of cancels out.
Yeah, we've lost our top 3 tackles this year. Grant Delpit, safety, is also out. So this is just turning into kind of a disaster.
I
But
still have that PTSD from was it last year, 2 years ago, where I think Fields had that was Matt Nagy. I think that was the worst game plan I've ever seen for a game. And it kind of seemed like they put him out there to get killed. I think that was when Andy Dalton got pulled for the first time. It was bad.
yeah. Yeah, so I'm on Bears -3. Next one, kind of going off what you were just talking about.
Bears or Browns?
Excuse me, Browns -3. Thank you. So going back to the injury standpoint of this, have you seen how beat up the Dolphins are? They have Andrew Van Ginkel was limited, Mostert limited, lineman Austin Jackson limited, Xavier Howard cornerback limited. They just lost their center. They just lost their starting linebacker. They lost their edge rusher a couple weeks ago. Devon Chain was a do not practice. Tyreek Hill is a do not practice because he's beat up. They didn't look good. They just lost to the Titans. I'm taking Zach Wilson plus 8.5. I'm taking the Jets. I'm taking the reigning AFC player of the week, Zach Wilson. Or was it there?
When you said that you were going to be gross this week, you weren't kidding.
No, it's I think Zach Wilson's on an FU tour right now. It sounds like the Jets, a few weeks ago said we're cutting you at the end of the year. That's why he got demoted to the 3rd string QB, but he's back being the starter, and he's got to put some good reps on tape if he wants to be a backup somewhere next year. So no more being a baby, no more checkdowns, just let loose. And if Tyreek Hill is not healthy or if he gets out, they cannot move the ball. They just can't. So if I lose because Tyreek Hill goes off, whatever, so be it.
The Jets defense put a stranglehold on CJ Stroud last weekend. Exactly.
Yeah.
That was my bet, and I realized pretty quickly that CJ Stroud was in for a long day.
Yeah.
He looked like a rookie, but that defense is elite.
Yeah. Yeah, and we talked about it too. We're if he, goes off, he's ready to be that franchise QB. Not to say that he's not anymore, but there's obviously still some stepping stones to follow to kind of build your way up.
Can Zach Wilson do it 2 weeks in a row? That's the question. Does he have to? I guess is the other question.
You know who I think can do it 2 weeks in a row?
Wait.
I told you I'm getting gross this week.
I'm trying to. Don't tell me. Jake Browning.
No, he might actually be 3. Good. That's interesting.
That'd be 3 weeks in a row for him.
2 weeks in a row, I'm going Bailey Zappi and the Patriots plus 8.5 against the Chiefs. I know you don't like that. I can see it on your face, but the Chiefs suck.
It's 8.5. It's 7. I'm seeing 7.5.
So it's on 8.5. It's 8.5 on FanDuel right now. So
damn, it was 7.5 2 hours ago. So I was looking at it.
It started at 10, and then it went down to 7.5, and now it's back up to 8.5 on FanDuel as of Thursday night. So, yeah, I'm taking the Patriots plus 8.5. If Bill Belichick is actually out for after this season, I think why would he care about the draft pick? He might as well just keep winning. Screw the franchise. They don't need a QB. He's not going to be there. So I'm taking the Patriots plus 8.5. I think they can shut Travis Kelce down. They've beaten the Chiefs before. Their defense has shut down the Chiefs when their offense was way better. They can do the same thing now, and I think Bailey Zappi can put up 20 points. So taking the Pats plus 8.5.
8 points is a lot.
Yeah. So, yeah. Patriots plus 8.5. Jets plus 8.5, Browns -3, and then you're on Ravens -3, New Mexico State covering 3.5 against Fresno State, and then the Ohio Georgia Southern under 49. So, not necessarily the most watchable bets on our end, but we can get into those games.
It'll be really pretty if we go 6-0. Everyone's going to tell us how beautiful it was. So
money talks.
I want to start with the 49ers this week. They're like a 12 or 13 point favorite against the Cardinals, which seems really high.
Yeah.
I know we have a Brock Purdy future at 17-1. And so I'm wondering, we're getting to the point where do we need to start thinking about hedges? There's Dak, there's Lamar. I'm just curious, are there at what point do we consider a hedge when we got a 17-1 ticket on a guy who's like 2-1 now?
Well, first off, I want to say on the podcast, it's just a 0.25 unit play.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
That does change things a little bit for the listeners, but if you didn't bet 2.5 units, you probably do want to hedge, and we still can hedge. The way I'm looking at it is I believe that Lamar Jackson is the guy. I don't think it's Dak because I think my Buffalo Bills beat the Cowboys this week and kind of knocked Dak down a little bit. They also play the Dolphins next week, which I know I'm not too high on the Dolphins, but if they get a little bit healthier, I do think the Dolphins can get hot and beat the Cowboys too. So I think it's just going to come down to Christmas night. And just picture yourself at Christmas night. You just had a nice meal. You opened some presents, spent time with your family. You got to give some gifts to your parents, your nieces and nephews. You're just enjoying your time. Why
All
don't
my
you
nieces and nephews? Yeah.
just take a step back and focus on sports for a second, because you're holding an MVP ticket and Brock Purdy's playing Lamar Jackson Christmas night. You need to watch that game. You have to be locked in because the winner of that wins MVP in my eyes.
Wait, who are the Niners playing?
The Ravens.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, let's wait on hedging then. Let's wait.
Like one more week, like you're talking like a Christmas Eve special hedge.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I'm on the Ravens this weekend, so if that loses, for example, we probably don't need to worry about Lamar for MVP.
That's true. Yeah, he just doesn't have the stats. It's so annoying, but they're gonna give it to him.
I have Lamar in fantasy this year, and he never got touchdowns because Gus Edwards would have 1-yard touchdown runs. He'd have like 3 carries for 20 or for 7 yards and 2 touchdowns every week. It was the dumbest thing. It was like the whole month of November. So yeah. Lamar's stats aren't great. The eye test is better than the stats, and the record is pretty good as well. I don't know. The MVP is starting to feel like when you're talking about the MVP and your options are Dak, Lamar, and Purdy, it's like, are we just doing this where now it's like we're just giving the quarterback on the team with the best record the trophy or the MVP every year?
Pretty much. And it's silly because Lamar, like, yards obviously aren't everything. Lamar has 2 300-yard games. And at Brock Purdy, he only has 4, but I mean that's still more. He has had a couple 4 touchdown games. Lamar hasn't had that, so I don't know. It's really frustrating. The media just does not want to give it to Purdy, but the advanced analytics, every single thing is trending towards Brock Purdy. So the media needs to be backing that.
Yeah, if Joe Burrow had stayed healthy, I think he'd be an actual threat.
I think so too, but he's long gone. However, Jake Browning is trying his best to ruin our Bengals under, which is just insanely dumb. Bengals look good. They have they got the Vikings. So there's 3 Saturday games. Vikings, Bengals, Steelers, Colts, Broncos, Lions. I think the most watchable is the Broncos, Lions. But there are
Not
a
for
lot of
me.
playoff implications with the other two games.
I don't watch the Broncos almost no matter what. I can't watch them. I don't care if
We
they're winning a little bit. I don't.
we
I don't watch them.
we were at the Broncos Chargers game in person this past Sunday, and if I could describe the Broncos in one word, it's boring. The whole game was just boring. It was sad.
Did Herbert get hurt in that game?
Yeah, he got hurt. He left, I think, in the second quarter, and then now he's out for the year. So
Dog, do you think that your brother is a Herbert? Do you think he cursed Herbert?
I'm not sure about that. Ryan's got a Herbert jersey. He's a believer too. Slade is
I'm
a
I'm
non-believer
asking
when it
if
comes to Herbert.
I'm asking if you cursed him with your presence.
No, no, no. You know who cursed him with his presence is Brandon Staley. Get him out of there. He's going to be fired in 4 weeks, and the Chargers will be fine. And just wait till Bill Belichick walks through those doors. He's going to be in LA, enjoying his time on the beach, winning Super Bowls with Justin Herbert. So,
Or
um,
Harbaugh. I feel like Harbaugh's options are the Raiders, Bears, and Chargers. So it might be
yeah,
up to whatever he decides.
yeah, yeah. So, those Saturday games I mentioned, is anything sticking out to you play wise? I don't really have any super strong leans. Maybe
Shout out Josh Dobbs being third string.
Josh Dobbs he fooled all of us for like a couple days. He fooled our friend Nicholas Bear for a couple weeks. He was behind the 8 ball on that one, but I yeah,
He fooled
Josh
him for a
Dobbs.
few years, if you think about it, going back to his career at Tennessee.
Yeah, I know. Josh Dobbs is going to be an awesome NASA engineer. He's not an awesome NFL QB.
I saw someone on Twitter call him Charlie Villanueva, and I can't get it out of my head.
They do look similar. All right. The Colts Steelers game, Mitch Trubisky against Gardner Minshew. I cannot believe that's like for a playoff spot. I don't. The NFL season is so weird.
Yeah, the Colts let me down last week. Both of those teams suck. I mean, that I this is kind of off topic. I think they need to reduce the number of teams in the playoffs. Like as much fun as it is being like, oh, the Bears at 5-8, they're in the hunt. They're on the in the hunt graphic. I'm sorry, we don't need this many teams in the playoffs so the NFL can make more money. This is dumb.
Super wild card weekend though. Come on, they
They've
want that.
expanded the playoffs twice in like 5 years.
Yeah,
Maybe if they add a couple more franchises, then maybe that's their plan. Is they're like, we're going to add some franchises and it'll make more sense when we have 2 to 4 more teams, um, which I think will eventually happen. I just I don't know. It seems like a lot right now. There's some really bad teams that are in the hunt, and some teams that are going to have a locked in playoff spot, and they're bad.
yeah, I know that
But
the possibilities in the AFC are very bizarre. If the Ravens stumble like they have been, there is a non-zero chance that the Bengals, Browns, or the Bills wouldn't be as crazy. Bengals, Browns, Colts, Steelers, like one of those teams could make the AFC Championship and just be a quarter or two away from going to the Super Bowl.
yeah, if they all play each other, someone has to win.
Yeah. So
Speaking of expansions, I mean we've already known this because we listened to BS Bill Simmons, but LeBron is bringing an NBA franchise to Las Vegas, probably when he retires. So that'll be fun. We have a new team to root against. Some of our
yep,
listeners have a new team to root for.
yep.
Um, Anytime you can root against LeBron James and anything that he is a part of, we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it to the best of our abilities. And
Yeah, like for example, I drove by a Blaze Pizza yesterday and I literally was like, I hope no one's there. Just like I didn't
yep,
even think about it. I just anything LeBron related is not fun. It's just not it doesn't come from like good faith. I don't even know how to explain it, but anything LeBron really is just like dirty. I don't like it.
Anything LeBron related to me is phony. That's what it is. He wins a
There you
stupid
go.
in-season tournament. It's a joke. It's a Mickey Mouse. It's just like his 2020 ring. It's a joke. It means nothing.
Yeah.
LA sports in general just drive me crazy. Other than the Rams, they drive me nuts. What else was I going to say? There's something
Well,
about
we did go to
LeBron.
an LA Kings hockey game last night. I hope you're not slandering the King because
No,
it
I
was
don't have a problem with them either.
okay.
But also, this is just going to turn into this is going to turn the LeBron versus Jordan, like the LeBron fans screaming at Jordan fans about how they think he's better when he's not. It's just gonna go on for an extra like 30, 40 years because it's gonna be look what LeBron's doing as an owner slash GM of the Las Vegas, I don't Blackjacks, whatever, compared to what Jordan did with the Hornets. And it's gonna be like, who fucking cares?
They're like, oh, Michael Jordan picked Brandon Ingram, and LeBron has Bronny Jr. in Vegas. Look at how different that is. Well,
Uh,
okay, I don't want to talk about LeBron anymore. We got to get back on topic.
yeah,
Can I stand for someone real quick?
sure.
Let it be known on December 14th, I always have been, still am, I am a believer in Bryce Young. He's been bad. He's been really bad. He's been worse than Tommy DeVito. But I think Bryce Young is still good. I think that it's been a
You
total
think he's
mess.
good or you think he's playable? You think
I
that
think
he is good enough to be a starting I don't know if you can say he's good unless your definition of good is like he's a top 20 quarterback with all these injuries.
I don't think right now he's top 20. I think how I should have phrased it is I project him to be a top 10 guy in the NFL. I think that his ceiling is still there. I just think that similar to Trevor Lawrence's first year with the Jags and Urban Meyer, it was a disaster. There was not a lot of growth, and I think that's how it is right now. So I just think that a fresh start next year with a new regime will do him well, and just get him some weapons. Um, you can't do much with Miles Sanders and Adam Thielen. That's all I'm saying. Chuba Hubbard is like one of the slowest running backs in the league. So
Thielen is targeted like 100 times a game. It's actually insane.
I know.
I've watched way too much Panthers football. I don't think he's as bad as this. I don't know if he'll ever be amazing because to me his ceiling is a notch below Kyler.
Yeah.
Because he's not as athletic as Kyler. And Kyler is accurate. Kyler is actually decent, but we see what happens with him when he's on a team that also is a dumpster fire. I just really don't have faith in the Panthers to figure it out. I need them to suck the rest of this year and next year because we have their second round pick for
Yeah.
2025.
The you brought up Adam Thielen. I just wanted to compliment him. That dude is just like a really high motor, first one in, first one out, or last one out type of guy. He has good IQ, good fundamentals, deceptive speed. He's a gamer, sneaky athletic. I literally just Googled how to compliment a white athlete. There's so many funny things on here.
I was like, at first, I was like, okay. And then it just kept going. Honestly, sometimes I feel like he is like the only ally for Bryce Young when he's on the field. It's like the offensive line lets him down, the wide receivers and tight ends let him down, but there's always like Adam Thielen that's there for him. Like that's
Yep.
his security blanket.
All reliable. Yeah.
He used to
So
be Kirk's, and now he's Bryce's.
exactly. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I would lean Panthers +3 in this game. It's gross, but that's what I would do. I'm also hearing that Circa Sports, that's their least common pick this week. Nobody's on the Panthers +3.
Which
So
means it's probably a good pick.
yeah.
We haven't talked about how shitty and how out we are on Jordan Love yet this episode. There was a lot of slander of Justin Fields and propping up Jordan Love the last week, and there was a nice little flip of the script there.
They lost to Tommy DeVito and the Giants. I think Jordan Love right now is just good at home, which is why I would lean them to beat the Bucks. The Bucks have a pretty depleted defense. Packers are laying 3.5, but jury's still out, I guess, in my eyes. Like, I think Jordan Love's better than what we thought, but is he good enough to be getting $30 million a year, which is probably what he's going to be asking for? I do not.
Pay him, pay him, pay him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quoting
No,
all Bears fans.
I don't think he's as bad as he was like was it October or whatever it was. He was on like Monday Night Football throwing like 4 interceptions against the Raiders. But I also don't think he's a guy that's ever going to win you anything in the playoffs. So there's a neutral ground there. I'll concede that he isn't a bottom 5 quarterback, but I really hope he's there for a long time.
Yeah, and
I want to hear the Bo Nix, Michael Penix versus Jordan Love debate this spring. That's what I'm looking forward to at that pick 16, 17 range, something like that.
That would be pretty funny.
Yeah.
Hey, it doesn't help that he doesn't have Christian Watson, who looks like he's going to be out a little bit longer. So I'd be interested to see him have some more weapons. Like, I think if you put Jordan Love into the Dolphins offense, they would probably look exactly the same. I know Tua is like uber accurate, but I think it'd be pretty similar. Texans Titans. Texans around +3, +2.5. CJ Stroud out of practice again today because he's
Stay
still in the
away.
concussion protocol. If he doesn't play, I'm going to be on the Titans Sunday morning.
I'm staying away because I already have a Titans investment on their season total over.
Yeah.
So if I hate betting on them because if they lose, then I feel like I'm losing twice. So
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm out on that one.
All right. I'm out on Saints Giants. I just don't ever want to bet a Derek Carr game.
There's like 10 teams that are almost you can't bet on them no matter what. And when they play each other, it gets tricky because you want to bet against them, but then you realize that the other team is just as stupid.
Yeah.
Pretty much any game involving the Falcons, the Giants, the Titans, the Steelers, the Colts, the Bucks. Who am I? I feel like I could name another 5 where it's
Chargers,
like
Raiders.
You can't trust them, but you also have to respect them enough to where you shouldn't just be fading them every week.
I know.
So it's silly.
Yeah.
The NFL just has some really damn bad teams. Like, I don't think the Bears are good, but when I look around the league, I'm like, we're better than a lot of these teams right now. When healthy, obviously, but it's just damn.
Speaking of teams that I think are a little bit worse in their record, the Washington Commanders. Ryan, do you have a play on this game? I heard.
Yes, I have picked like the Rams to beat the Commanders. They're not as good as I thought when I made that other pick.
Oh yeah, because you did bet the Commanders on your last guest pick. I think they lost to the Giants that week.
Yes, 14-7.
Yeah, so we're over that, and we're betting against the Commanders this time. The Rams are
this is a
get
right week.
Get right week, and also
Dogs
this kind
get right pick of the week.
Dogs get right pick of the week. Insert the graphic here. Yeah, the Rams. We also bet on them to make the playoffs. They're down to like +130, I think, and we got them at +225. So we're in better shape than we were. A win against the Ravens would have been nice. They had the ball in OT, and all they had to get was a field goal, and they couldn't do it. So, yeah, I like the Rams in that one. And then another NFC West team, the Niners are laying 12.5 against the Cardinals, who are off a bye. 12.5's a lot, but I mean, there's no way the Niners lose this game. You can probably do a 10-point tease and include this as a leg if you want, but I don't know about 12.5.
12.5's too much for me. I think it's in Arizona too.
Yeah.
Not that that's a great home field advantage, but it's still different than playing in San Francisco. I'm leaning towards Arizona. on that one, just because they do have a knack for playing close games. And whenever divisional opponents play each other, they usually know each other pretty well. And they seem like they always end a little closer.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
I mean, that's one you said a 10-point teaser. You could do that either way, because otherwise you're up to like 22.5.
Yeah, I mean, you could also, they let you do it both ways. So you could also just middle that and say Niners to win by between 3 and 22.
And then take the total and do like take 10 points. You could do like a 3-leg 10-point teaser all in one game.
That would I don't know if I would lean the over under in that one, but that'd be pretty funny. Game of the week, Cowboys Bills. Cowboys 2-point underdogs at the Bills.
Is the weather supposed to be severe or what?
I heard Sean McDermott's going to pull out another 9/11 motivational speech, so I think we need to get on. We need to get on the Bills.
Oh shit! They're wearing red, white, and blue this week too. Damn. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm afraid of the Bills, but I don't like a Bills home game. I'll stay away. If the Bills do lose this or win this, though, that's good for Brock Purdy.
Yeah, just root for the Bills.
Well, root for the Bills, and it's kind of not like if Lamar wins, or I guess we could be screwed if the Ravens won by like 1 or 2. But if the Ravens lose, that's also good for Purdy. So we kind of have an emotional hedge there, or not even an emotional hedge, a financial hedge in a way.
The Bills schedule, they got the Cowboys at home, then they go at Chargers, which is a win, and then Patriots at home, which is probably going to be a win. Then the last week they play at the Dolphins, and that could potentially, we could see back-to-back Dolphins Bills, because that will be for that'll probably be for the division if the Bills win out. So that also could be a wild card matchup too, which would be a pretty exciting game. Ravens, Jags, we talked about that. We both like the Ravens. Patriots plus 8.5. And then Monday Night Football, Eagles minus 3.5 at the Seahawks. Not impressed with either of these teams. Jalen Hurts looks really bad. I don't even consider the Eagles Super Bowl contenders right now, which you could totally clip this, I'm sure, and play it in February if you want, but I don't see it at all.
Is some of this Eagles decline on defense because of Jalen Hurts' contract, or is that even kicked in yet? Because this is my exact fear of paying a quarterback whatever that record deal was, because their defense is not close to the same. I know the Bears got TJ Edwards, who was one of their leading tacklers last year at linebacker. We got him because they didn't want to pay him.
Jalen Hurts' cap hit is $6.1 million. It's about to go to 13, 21, 31, and 45.
That seems really low. Didn't he just sign for like $250 million?
But then there's a potential out. And then after that, he's still under contract for 5 more years. So he'd have $54 million cap hit in 2028, 35, 26, 16, and 7. So he's locked up until he's 35. How is that even possible? That makes no sense.
All right. Well,
says 2029.
Their defense just feels like it fell off a cliff coming off last year. I know they lost some players, but it's weird too because they also added maybe the best rookie on their defensive line, and they're still this bad. I don't know. It kind of just shows you can't assume one unit that was good is just going to carry over the next year in the NFL. These guys just kind of fall off when, like, out of nowhere, it feels like.
Yeah, it's very hit or miss, and he's definitely very injury prone. But the good news about Jalen Hurts is after every loss, he will hit the weight room. So
he's getting stronger.
You don't have to worry about him being weak. So those Phillies or the tush push. Do you think in the playoffs, if they get desperate enough, they're just gonna start running that on like 2nd and 4? Might as well.
Yes, maybe they would put like Goddard back there sometimes.
Yeah,
So it's not Jalen every single play. Just mix it up. Some other big bodies back there. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I can see it.
All right, I think that's all for NFL this week. We talked about MVP, Coach of the Year. I don't feel too strongly about anything right now. I think Shanahan is live around 10-1. Just
Yeah,
if
it
the
feels good.
Niners keep winning out, but like Dan Campbell's losing and D'Amico Ryans could have some losses coming up as well.
D'Amico Ryans felt like a really good pick when we recorded last week. Losing to the Jets and losing to Zach Wilson will definitely, uh, especially in the fashion you did, and you're supposed to be a defensive coach. I think that definitely hurt his coach of the year stock. Dan Campbell losing to the Bears and Eberflus by multiple scores has to hurt his stock. Kyle Shanahan feels like a good pick because what's interesting is you can't play both sides and be like Brock Purdy's a system quarterback and he has all this around him, blah, blah, blah. And then also say that Kyle Shanahan shouldn't be one of the top 2 or 3 candidates for coach of the year
Yeah,
because you're basically saying that Kyle Shanahan got Jimmy G and Brock Purdy to play at like Pro Bowl levels when we know for a fact Jimmy G is outside of San Francisco not a Pro Bowl quarterback, and we don't know what Brock is, but he at Iowa State was not this. If you
I
had to
know
pick
that.
any coach in the NFL for the next 5 years, would you pick him? Because I think that's who I'd take.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, assuming Andy Reid. I mean, Andy Reid might only have 3-4 years, so like I think that would be my choice.
yeah. I think that's pretty much a no-brainer. I was gonna say him or Andy Reid. Those are by far and away the top two, especially
Hmm.
because of Bill Belichick's kind of struggles lately. I think Bill Belichick, the coach, you still want, just not the GM. But
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's fine if he has the quarterback, which you could say about a lot of people, but it just seems like it influences everything when he doesn't have a quarterback.
yep, yep. Do you want to talk MLB for a little bit, or what do you, or NBA? What do you think?
Um, Giannis scored 64 last night.
I was hoping. Okay, I have a rant on this too. If you wanna talk first.
Go, because I want to say that him. Yeah,
All right, sorry about the interruption there. We're talking Giannis Antetokounmpo. This dude, I don't care if you scored 60, whatever. You don't need the game ball. Grow up.
he
The
got the
game
game
ball.
ball for scoring
Yeah, that
6.
did you not
I didn't
hear
know.
about all did you not hear about the
No,
controversy?
no,
No?
I have no
He
idea.
he Oscar Shibwe, the rookie for the Pacers, wanted the ball because it was his first career points or something. And they like Giannis chased him in the tunnel. Look it up. It is embarrassing. And Giannis was like all mad about it.
He wanted the ball because his 64 points was more important than the other guy's first career points.
Yeah, because he broke the Bucks franchise record for a game.
Dude, the thing about Giannis that drives me nuts is he is a free throw merchant.
Yeah.
His whole entire game plan is like what LeBron was like a decade ago, where it's just drive at the rim as hard as you possibly can, and know you're going to run into somebody, and you're so big and strong that they're going to either have to foul. Like there's no skill. He's just big and athletic and a freak of nature, hence the nickname. Like he can't shoot. He can
No.
dribble decently well for his size, but like his entire game plan is to take 2 steps from the 3-point line and get hacked and then go up there and shoot 70% on free throws. He shot 32 free throws last night. That's
He had
insane.
64 points and 0 3-pointers. Congratulations.
And also the Pacers are like the worst defensive team in the league. and like actually, I think they're the worst defensive team in NBA history
Yeah.
statistically. The over under last night going into the game was 258.5. I took the under and I lost. They scored 266.
That is insane. Yeah,
Yeah.
the game ball thing, that just makes me mad. I don't whatever.
Is Dame happy? I feel like he can't be happy.
The fans aren't happy because he doesn't play defense. Their team
That's
got
true.
worse and the Heat got better by not getting him. The Heat are in totally fine shape. The Bucks are
Yeah.
not buying it.
Yeah. I wonder if the Celtics regret that.
I think they like Drew Holiday, don't they?
Or yeah. What am I talking about? They got Drew Holiday. I wonder if I guess it'd be the Bucks who would regret it.
Quietly, the Bucks are 17-7, the second team in the West.
They struggle with the Bulls, though. I don't know what it is. Kobe White, possible
Kobe White.
MVP candidate. He went from plus 5,000 to plus like 2,000. Certain states don't allow you to bet those type of awards, so I'm just kind of pissed I couldn't get it. But plus 5,000 would have been nice.
This is the Kobe White segment you wanted. Past 5 games, 27 points, 33, 24, 19, 31, 23, 19, 23.
Yeah. Basically, since Zach LaVine was out, everything on the offense, everything about the Bulls is more fun to watch because you don't have guys like Kobe and Pat who are like, "Oh, I gotta feed my veteran," or sometimes they'd be like scared to shoot and they'd think they have to get LaVine the ball. And now that they're out, they're like, "Oh, I'm allowed to do this. I can take over for the next few minutes." And everything just looks better. Everything, they may not win because they still aren't as talented of a team, but it's just like it's time to move on and turn a new leaf.
Yeah.
That's talking NBA.
Yeah, I've hit my breaking point there. Enjoy the Christmas games. I'm sure those will be fun. In-season tournament was good, but it's over, so now we're waiting for the playoffs. Are we gonna have our Otani segment?
Who?
Yeah, we can talk about one of the greatest international players of all time.
Ichiro.
Yamamoto. Yes, yeah. Hideki Matsui was one of my favorite.
Sia
Really,
Suzuki. I would not
thank
trade
you.
Sia Suzuki for Otani straight up.
I would, but if he would have caught that ball in right field, I would have not traded it.
That's a good point. So basically, Otani gave everybody he wasted all of baseball, the whole baseball community's time. He was never leaving LA. He really only considered Toronto because he liked the city and they have a dome. But really, he knew that would make no sense from like trying to win perspective.
Yeah,
His little, "Oh, I got 700, but all this shit's deferred." That's stupid as fuck. That makes me mad. If you need all that to win, if you need to buy a championship, then you're not as, I don't know, have some pride. Like it's still $700 million. He's still getting his money. We won't see anyone use that loophole because they don't make as much off the field as him. But yeah, the whole we're going to defer 68 of your 70 million per year until 2033 or 2034. Like screw that, man.
so I just assume that this is a fine deal for the Dodgers because their next TV deal will make that 68 really like 40 or 50, I'm guessing, compared to like today's dollars. But
Think about
yeah,
this. They can put
yeah,
$68 million in a Marcus account, and at 5% a year, that thing will be worth how many millions? And like they'll be paying, and then there's inflation on top of that. Like that's why it only costs 46 million towards the luxury tax. That's still a lot. That's still, I think, probably the most in the league, or yeah, I think it's still most in the league. It's still more than what Trout got, and Trout's was like a 12-year deal. So like it still is a lot. It's still going to have luxury tax implications. So they're going to be paying a tax on however much they go over that. Um, but yeah, it's just annoying that the Dodgers, of course, find a player who like doesn't want to leave their city and also is willing, has so much other money coming in, that he can do this. So they can find every loophole imaginable. Um, that opt out clause that we were talking about yesterday, that he can leave if the GM leaves, that is
Yeah.
that is interesting because how many GMs or presidents stay with the team for 20 years? I would say almost 0%. Because that guy's been there for 10 years, and if that contract's 10 years, what would stop him from going somewhere else? Like if he says, I want to go take the Braves job, is Otani a
Why
free
would
agent?
if Otani wants to be, he can opt out.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying.
why why would he leave the Dodgers if someone, you know what the Cubs should do? The Cubs should offer that GM like
that's what
$15 million a year, or like a 1 year $20 million a year to be a consultant or something, and get
yeah.
him out of
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, Tani's gonna opt out and hit the market again. Oh, he wants to be with this president he thinks is so smart. Well, we might have to do a little backdoor stabbing of Jed the way he did with Ross.
there. It'd be a real shame if that GM got a DUI. That's all I'm saying.
It is. I don't know. It's that time of year where like the market is being held up now by Yamamoto because he's the top pitcher of the market, and Otani wasn't really viewed as a pitcher. So a lot of teams are waiting to see how that shakes out before they start giving out, their consolation prizes, a lot
Yeah.
of money. That guy is a posting fee that's insane. So if you pay him 300 million, it's going to cost you 50 million to the Japanese team he's on.
Well, how does that posting fee get determined? What dictates that?
It's based off the contract size. So like the first 25 million gets taxed at this percent, the next 50 million get taxed at this percent. If it's over 100 million, gets taxed at like this percent. And so because it's getting up to 300 million, they're going to pay a $50 million to this Japanese team to have his rights. So it's going to cost you $350 million to have this guy. And he's never pitched in the big leagues. That's more than Garrett Cole. Um, I don't know why a lot of teams are wanting to do this. I know he's 25, but this is a pitcher. This isn't Juan Soto. This is a guy who could blow his arm out tomorrow and lose 2 seasons. So it's a
Yeah.
huge risk, and I don't think there's as much upside as people think. Because I mean, best case scenario, he is Garrett Cole, and the Yankees aren't exactly running up any World Series or anything. So,
No.
um,
So I think that the break. I read today that, I don't know how true this is. With MLB's been crazy, with these sources not knowing what's going on. But apparently Otani was in the meeting with Yamamoto for the Dodgers, and so was Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. They need, Lord knows, they need a starting pitcher, because their starting pitcher one right now is coming off shoulder surgery in Kershaw. They also have like
Kershaw's not on the
Ryan.
team,
Oh, he's a free agent.
and he can't pitch till August. Yes. So they don't have
Oh,
Kershaw. They have Walker Buehler coming off surgery, Dustin May coming
okay.
off surgery, and a bunch of nothing. Their
They
other
got
starter was Lance Lynn.
Bobby Miller, Ryan Yarborough, Emmett Shaheen, and the good old Ryan Pepiot.
Who they are reportedly interested in trading for Glass now. So that would be another 25 million on their books and prospect capital. I mean, it's almost like if they get all these guys and it doesn't work out, they just screwed themselves for a long time, because you're giving up a lot. And then if you get Yamamoto, that's $1 billion, and that's $1 billion plus dollars in two people that have an injury history in Shohei's case. Like, he's 30 years old. I don't think people understand that. Shohei is 30. That 10-year contract, those last 3-4 years, what is he going to be a DH? He has to hit 55 plus home runs to even be worth 30 million on the field. So I don't know. It's a little nuts, but Andrew Friedman a few years ago, the former or the current Dodgers executive. So this was well before Otani and all this. He said, if you're only going to give out rational or like fair free agent offers, you'll always finish in third. And that's just what I always have to remind myself. Like, whatever you think is a fair and reasonable offer, you're not going to get the player. Like Bellinger, thinking he's worth 200 to 300 million, even, like, I get nervous when people start talking about like the 180 he was projected. That's a lot of money for a guy who was literally DFA'd or whatever by non-tendered by the one of the smartest organizations in the
Hey,
world last year.
you're talking about the former MVP. I'm all in on the Cubs getting him for like 7 years, 180. The Cubs have to make a move. I think it's going to be him, and then it sounds like they might miss out on Glass now or Bieber. I guess it kind of depends with Yamamoto. I'm going to be pissed if Bieber ends up going to the Reds, someone in division. The Cubs should be embarrassed if that happens.
If if the Cubs are going to bring back Bellinger, I want it to be on the Carlos Correa Mets contract he had, where it was like 3 years, $100 million, and then he has an opt out after the first year, so he guarantees himself $100 million. Worst
Wait,
case,
what? You
you
said
know,
Carlos Correa?
I want him to have a similar contract to Carlos Correa's when his first contract with the Twins,
Oh, okay.
because they're
Yeah.
both Boris guys, and so you sign a 3 year deal that's like $100 million guaranteed, but there's an opt out after the first year, and that's what he did. He opted out and got his bigger contract. But
Yeah.
I don't want to give somebody who has had like 3 of his last 4 years have been legitimately bad. His batted ball data is a little suspicious. He hit 279 with 2 strikes, which is 100 points higher than league average. I don't know how sustainable that is. And if you have PCA, a lot of his defensive value is going to be at first base, not center field. So um, if they do get Bellinger, that almost tells me not that they don't believe in PCA. It just tells me that maybe he's not on the opening day roster, and we have to start thinking about him more as a 2025 guy because your outfield is set.
We are still running the promo. When PCA gets his first hit, we will be giving away a t-shirt. We just had to wait
Yeah.
8 months to do it.
Hope I honestly think it's only like a 60% chance he makes opening day roster. I think I would not be surprised if he's in Des Moines to start the year, depending on how the rest of the free agency pans out.
Let's talk one more Cubs thing before we wrap this up. You and I kind of got in a heated debate this morning of Jordan Wicks versus Hayden Wisniewski. Not that there even needs to be a comparison between the two because you have both and no one's asking like necessarily. It's not like you pick one and cut one. You can just actually have them both.
Right.
But I am team Jordan Wicks. You're on team Hayden Wisniewski. You texted me saying that you think he's going to be the next Spencer Strider. Can you
No, I
please?
didn't.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I just was a little bit disappointed in Wisniewski this past year. I thought he'd make a big jump, and he didn't. But do you project him both those guys as starters, or one going to end up in the bullpen, or is it too early to tell?
Wicks is going to be a starter. That's 100% sure. The thing is, he just might. I don't think he's going to start on the big league club. He's going to be in Iowa. Wisniewski is going to be on the 26 man, but it might be in a bullpen. I like Justin Steele was in the bullpen, and so with him and Keegan Thompson were both in the bullpen, and they wanted both to be starters. But sometimes it's just you got to get them where there's a spot, and like if the Cubs have 8, 9 guys in their rotation, there's just not a rotation spot. I mean, he started the year as a starting pitcher last year on the opening day roster. He was really, really good as a rookie. There were people saying he's going to be the Cubs opening day starter in a few years. Like he had a lot of hype. It wasn't Spencer Strider, but or going to happen overnight. But like they were projecting, he has that kind of stuff. That's why I'm still higher on him than Wicks. Is his stuff is still there? It's the throwing strikes consistently. That was the issue. I still believe in Wisniewski. His rookie year performance was better than Jordan Wicks. It's just funny how a guy's value between like a fan base and in trades, it ebbs and flows. Like people think that like you're good one year and you're going to build off it the next year, and that's not how it always works. You're going to have guys who they have down years. There's Hall of Fame players who have down years and come back, especially with pitchers nowadays. They have these down years. Like it wasn't that bad either. His ERA was 4.6, which isn't good. Don't get me wrong, but like Wicks was 4.4, and we have people saying, "Oh, he's untouchable in a trade." Like all this stuff. Like the guy threw 33 innings of 4.4 baseball, and people are acting like he is like a lock to be a future rotation guy. And like I think he is going to be in the rotation for years to come, but I don't know how you can be out on one and in on the other. Like if you're out on both or you're in on both, just pick a side, but it's hard
Yeah.
to be. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And I long story short, we are in on both guys. I just have a sour taste in my mouth with Wisniewski. That can
Hey,
easily be fixed.
I lost a 4,000 to 1 or a 4,000 plus 4,000 future on him to win rookie of the year. Um, I trusted the process. I mean, I had one on Corbin Carroll too. So like I still profited, but like I had like one favorite and one long shot, and he was my long shot. And then I also put a little bit on Ellie De La Cruz mid-year, and that obviously didn't hit either. But um,
Yeah.
Ellie De La Cruz is another example. He comes in, he's awesome. Everyone thinks he's going to be the next great thing. He was awful for the last month and a half, and I still would buy his stock today.
So you're to come full circle here. You do believe that guys can have off seasons and come back and get into their normal form.
Yes, Jamison Tyone, I'm still buying that stock too. It was Theo Epstein who said progress isn't always linear. That's a good Theo quote for you. I've quoted Andrew Friedman. I've quoted Theo Epstein. Those are two of the best baseball minds. I trust them.
Also, one of the more slimy baseball minds, Scott Boras, is saying the same thing about Cody Bellinger, and that's why Cody Bellinger is going to be a Chicago Cub.
A year ago at this, it's just funny. Like a year ago at this time, Cubs Twitter was complaining that the Cubs were picking from the bottom of the barrel, not taking any big swings, not spending any money. Like they called like the Bellinger move was a cheap ass move on all that. And now it's like, oh, now you have to pay him $150+ million or you're dumb.
Yeah.
A year ago, you were saying that giving him $20 million on a 1-year deal was dumb. And like a lot of rational people, me too, are like, there's no bad 1-year contracts. But like a lot of people were just like, that was stupid. I guess it could have easily been a Mancini situation, but that was still 2 years, and that contract was bad. Never have to watch him again. Thank God.
Dude, where is he going to end up next year?
Probably like on a non-roster invite to spring training to chance to make a team. I don't know.
He's bad.
He's making $7 million to not play baseball this year, or if he doesn't even play this year. So
Good for him. Happy for him and his wife and kids. He
yep.
can enjoy that.
Yep. He's a good guy.
Yeah, I have nothing against him. He just sucks. Same with Eric Hosmer. Those two can go hang out somewhere for all I care, but not good. Not good.
They can go work
players.
for Marquee Network. It's probably better than Joe Girardi.
Yeah, I was gonna say they can grab dinner with Joe Girardi every night.
I'm just ready for something to happen, man. Like this is the longest we've ever gone without anything happening. It's just insane. Like last year at this time, like it was like we knew Swanson was likely to happen, and we already had Bellinger, and we already had Tyone. Like things had already happened. We had some relievers. There's nothing. We've gotten a third string non-roster invite to spring training for a catcher and a minor league contract to a Korean league lefty reliever. Nothing's happened. It's insane. Yamamoto has to decide within the next like 2 to 3 weeks because he only has like a 40-day posting window. So like it all has to come to a head at some point. I don't know, man. I'm just bored as a fan of
I
the
know.
game. It's bad for baseball.
To end the show, I'm just a little worried about you, and I want the listeners to know that Slade texted me. He said he's abstaining from alcohol until the Cubs make a move. So
I'm
I'm
abstaining
hoping
from happiness until the Cubs do something.
yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. The dominoes will start falling soon. So yeah, just be sure to check into our episodes. We'll be talking more Cubs and just MLB as a whole as the deals start rolling in. But yeah, we just want to say good luck on your bets this past week. Ride Dog, thank you for joining us. I will be going to Florida next week, so I'll be probably recording out by the pool. So hopefully we can get some scenic views on the pod next week. So
And I'll be recording from Iowa, so I will too be out at the pool.
Yeah, you'll be out at the
Out of my basement pool table.
there you go. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. We wish you good luck with all your bets. Bet responsibly, and we will catch you guys next time. This has been another episode of Bet GPT. Thanks.